Simon here. This is the 2022 Intermediate Invitational Tak Tournament, and this match is the finals between MediocreTaborlin and Reimen. This is the big one. This decides who wins this tournament and takes home the grand prize. Second place also gets a pretty nice prize too, so they're both winners. But we do want to see who takes this one. This is a big one here. MediocreTaborlin, this is his first tournament since playing in the 2016 Tak Open, just 6 years ago. And Reimen has been playing in quite a few tournaments, playing in the Blitz tournament, and then he also played in the 2021 Tak Open fairly recently, did very well there, tied with me for the 10th place, I believe. And Reimen also took third place in the MSO tournament for Tak. So really, really well done. And both of these players have been just playing phenomenal Tak throughout this whole tournament. So this should be a very solid matchup. And we are ready to go with game one of this 2-game match. Oh, sorry. This is a 4-game match because this is the finals. So game one of MediocreTaborlin versus Reimen. This is MediocreTaborlin in white and Reimen in black. Okay. We see A1 played. And then A6 going for that adjacent corner opening and then going straight into that center control. We're seeing that mirrored opening that's so often, but then MediocreTaborlin going offset, opening up a spot for the black capstone, but black doesn't drop the capstone there. Instead, just drops a flat. Interesting play. I would have expected a capstone there, but playing a little bit more conservatively, I guess. And again, this is a 4-game match. So I don't think they're going to play all 4 tonight, but this should be good. All right, so we're seeing white play off here, going for this diagonal line here. Not really sure what the point of that is, but now black is playing up above, kind of going for this vertical line. And now black's got this capstone in the mix, ready to cut off all of this that white's been building. And white's going to have to focus on this area here, and it's not going to work out too well, I don't think. Black now able to come down with that capstone or just continue building down here below, maybe at C2. I think C2 is really good, and that's exactly what he does, builds there at C2. And C2 works because it's going for this vertical line, and black can just take this capstone and bring it down, capturing onto C4 and interrupting all that white's got going on, and also building towards that vertical tag threat of his own. Now, white is building down below here at B3, wanting to come down and capture probably with C4. I would do it on this turn if I'm white, because what that does is that opens this spot up. Black's going to have to either chase it with that capstone, which isn't great, or black will drop another flat there or a wall or something like that. I think the best move that black would have after white captures down on a C3 is to move that capstone by itself. Typically, moving a piece, even a capstone, where it's not capturing either a friendly or an opposing piece is a bad idea. But I think in this case, if white were to have dropped that down, it would have been a good move. Now we're seeing white instead play the capstone down here. Surprising play. Going for that vertical line here themselves. Black then plays a flat to stop that. Now we may see, no, we're seeing white place over at D1, potentially coming left to capture onto C1 and interrupt both this vertical line and the horizontal that black is also building, and make some sort of threat by capturing over onto B1. Now, white would probably have to place over here at A5 first in order for that to be successful, but we shall see. Reimen has played pretty well in the past few tournaments that he's been in, and it's been a surprising sort of growth that we've seen from his play in the past year or so, since he's only been playing for about a year, maybe a year and a half max. And he's been playing some really excellent Tak. I know that in one of the Blitz tournaments when I played against him, He just absolutely slaughtered me. It wasn't even close. He destroyed me in those. All right, so we do see black come down with that capstone, make that threat. White immediately comes right with the capstone. No time wasted. Knew exactly what they were going to do here. Once white came right, black came down again to capture onto that stack and recover that captive. White now playing off to the side here at D2. This is making a connection for that vertical threat here. White may decide to play here at B2. That's what they do. This is now attack threat in the vertical direction. Playing here at A5 or B6 would be a road. So black is going to have to do something to stop that. They do that by bringing that capstone left from C3 over onto B3. And now this stops all that, but white can not renew, but sort of renew by placing up here at C4. What that does is that gives that opportunity for white to bring that capstone up afterwards, capture, and then start playing up at C4, go for that A6 to D1 line. But not going to do that. Instead, going to capture with that capstone first. I'm not sure if I like that more than placing. I think I like placing a little bit more. And we see that wall get dropped there. That's why I liked placing at C4 more, because that wall wouldn't have been able to be dropped there. Now, white is going to have to do something to come back here, because they were on the back foot, basically. Or they are now on the back foot again. White now playing up to the side, going for that vertical threat up here. They know they have momentum currently, so they're going to go for that. I think white is actually in the lead at this point in the game. Black seems to be scrambling, lost a bunch of pieces under here. White is doing pretty well in terms of flats, though there is 2 Komi in this tournament. 2 Komi does mean that 2 gets added to black's flat count score if the game does not end in a road. I'm not sure why white played up at B6 here when they could have just played up at E5 like they just did. Tak threat again. Black stopped it by a flat placement. Gonna have to make a capture here in order to stop this road from happening. Is he gonna capture down with E6? Or maybe over with D4? Does come down with E6. Now I think white might just play at F5, and that's exactly what they do here. Black dropping a wall. I think we might see an F5 left here. No, we're just going to see an E6 placement. Strong play here from white, really just snowballing this control. We saw him play similar to this when he was playing against Denaria in the semifinals of this tournament. Just really, once he got control, he was able to hold on to it for pretty much the whole game. And I think we're seeing that again in this game here. Black coming up with that wall, stopping white from continuing these back-to-back tak threats. But white continuing to place these flats down and get their reserves down low and get more flats on the board. If we take a look at the flat count here, 13 for white, 11 for black, including the Komi. So currently no tak threat at the moment, but white is in a pretty strong position. Black really doesn't have anywhere to go here in order to make a road. They don't have a lot of offensive positions available to them. Additionally, if black wanted to move this capstone down for whatever reason, they couldn't do that because white would have that road. So black, if they want to move that capstone, it has to be up. They can't move it left. They can't move it down. It's got to go upwards. Additionally, white can make a tak threat on the next turn. Not a particularly strong one since it's basically stopped immediately, but that is something that they can do by capturing right with C5, for example. They'd be able to do that. Or capturing down with E5. They don't want to do that one because that would give this wall the opportunity to capture left and recover those captives and make a strong play, strong flat count differential move, probably like a +3 move after that. And if you're wondering what the heck is he talking about with a +3 move and FCD and all that stuff, that is all covered in the FCD or flat count differential video of Tak University, and you can check that out on the YouTube channel. Tak University, great series for teaching some basic strategy tips and talking about how I talk about games and how the community talks about games in terms of what to look out for and things like that. While I was talking, Reimen did play some great Blitz games in the Blitz tournaments last year. However, we do take a look at MediocreTaborlin playing under that increment time, 15 minutes on the clock here. And again, they do have just a 15-second increment. We did see black play at a5, and then white immediately played up at c6, just building that foundation up here, getting this citadel position, able to really just take over everything that's going on here. If white comes over with c5 right, black won't be able to come down with d6 because that would lead to a road in that direction. Though it's tough. I think we might see a c5 right anyway. But yeah, MediocreTaborlin just barely under that 15-minute mark here. Reimen down to 12 and a half minutes. So playing slower than MediocreTaborlin, which makes sense because he is playing behind right now. Starting to gain quite a bit of ground at this moment, but MediocreTaborlin is building a strong foundation, and he's going to be able to build in a lot of directions from here and do a lot of damage, I think, and potentially get into a position where Reimen's not going to be able to fight back. We saw some really strong play in MediocreTaborlin's games against Anaria, and we're seeing a very similar showcase here, where he's playing this really, really aggressive game, just snowballing his advantage. Reimen also used to playing that sort of game, so it's interesting seeing him on the other side of that for once. I say for once. He's played against some really strong players, better than I am, of course, and yeah, he's done some pretty good play against those. But it is interesting to see someone else use the same technique against someone who uses it fairly often. MediocreTaborlin taking his time here, trying to figure out how best to deal with this capture onto b5. And now, if he captures up or over with any of his flats over here, black's capstone is likely to come up, get thrown onto b5, and capture up there. That's not something that white wants to give black the ability to do because, again, it would allow for more positive flat count differential moves from black, but also he'd be able to get this spot and capture over, kind of go for some sort of horizontal threat in that direction, also go for this vertical over here off to the side. A lot of options open up. And so white might just want to take this c5 right onto d5, make that threat, force black to respond. Now, the response that black would make in that regard would be the only move possible, and that would be d4 plus. Now, we'd have to think, okay, after d4 plus, what is it that white is going to do? And it's probably drop a wall here at d4, or maybe even a wall at c5. Those would be the plays I would expect. But instead, he plays at f4. Interesting. Now, okay, so black is still able to toss this up onto b5 if he wants to at the moment. No threat right now, but he's building toward the ability to make that horizontal line if black does take this capstone up. So we might see white play at a4 on the next turn here. White took plenty of time there. We saw him take basically 3 minutes on that one turn, bringing him down closer to Reimen's time. But he's really making sure that he was using that time, saving it up for when it was most useful to him. And right now, coming in about 20, 22 moves into the game, that's when things start to get really tricky and the board sort of, it feels like it collapses. It's like dominoes. One thing after another happens, and then the board state changes dramatically. It's when you see a lot of captures and recaptures, walls and capstones come into play, and then the advantage will shift from one player to the other and back and forth, sometimes multiple times over 4 or 5 turns. And so I think this is getting to that point where we're going to see some strong play and some very, very interesting changes to the board state. So we do see black make yet another flat on flat capture, d6 right. And I do say d6 right, that is the portable tak notation. You see it over here off to the left. It's also how we describe these moves. And if you're unfamiliar with portable tak notation, I do talk about that in the PTN or portable tak notation video of Tak University. So black not building a tak threat right now, but building towards one, also trying to stop white's constant threats is what they seem like. They're just all over the place. Keep on coming, keep on coming. We may see white fill in here. They fill in with a wall ready to capture over onto e6, recover that captive, and make some positive flat count differential moves. And also renew some tak threats. Capturing over that wall. Oh, that is a really strong wall. I didn't really know about that d6 right flat move that black made. Capturing over here onto e6 doesn't seem like a very strong move to me. It seems like it opens up the opportunity for something like this wall. I didn't think of the wall at the moment, but that wall is very, very strong, and it almost feels like black needs to take this e6 stack and bring it down onto e5 and protect it with their own wall somehow. It's just not in a great position, and white is going to be able to come over and make a threat in 2 directions by coming down with that e6 stack if black doesn't do something to stop them. And it is looking rough. I think black needs to drop a wall here at e2. I think that needs to happen. A wall at e2, so black can take that wall and bring it up onto e3. And so if they bring up a wall onto e3, so let's say, okay, white comes over onto e6. Ooh, this may be disastrous for black. So when white comes over onto e6, black is going to have to drop a wall here on d6, I think. If they don't drop a wall on d6, I think it's basically game over for black. Yeah, now are we going to see the wall? We do see the wall. And we see the tak threat. This is a threat in the vertical direction now. Black can come right with that wall, as expected. Now, white can't make that road anymore. White can, however, fill in at d6, and I think that's what they want to do here. I think white wants to fill in at d6, and that's what they do. All right, what's the play now from black? Now that you've figured that out, you know that you could stop that immediate threat. What's the play now? I really think black is in a lot of trouble here. It's going to take some play that is probably beyond me to figure out a way out of this, or some blunders from white. MediocreTaborlin really, really showing some strong play here. He has been inactive for the past 5 years or so, not playing too often, hardly ever playing online, and then occasionally coming on to the subreddit page and doing some of those daily puzzles that we get. Doing those every once in a while. He'll come in and solve some, but didn't join the online Discord community, which is the community hub and where basically all the community discussion happens and where we organize these tournaments and things like that. And he didn't join the Discord until just a couple months ago. And when he joined, we got him to join the Intermediate Invitational Tournament. And so he has been absolutely destroying the competition here. And we're seeing that again here. I was expecting Reimen to be in the finals when I saw the lineup of this tournament. I definitely was. MediocreTaborlin, I was waffling on. I didn't know if he would be in the finals or if he wouldn't make it through his group stage, but I figured it was one of the two. He was either play really, really well or he would be too rusty. But apparently, he's doing really, really well. And he is proving that that his experience is still a huge asset here. Reimen, again, hasn't been playing the game too long, just about a year or so. But MediocreTaborlin has been around for, again, about 6 years. Taking his time, down to 7.5 minutes on the clock. White's still up at 12. Don't really know what black can do at this point. It's going to have to be some... I think there will have to be some... Ooh, that might work. Nope, that won't work. Never mind. I was thinking to bring this wall to the right onto d4, but no, that would just leave a road for white. You know, that would be good because it could come down or come right for a positive flat count differential move, but it would also leave a road available. I definitely have made those moves before where I thought, ooh, this would be really strong. Why didn't I see that before? It's because it makes you lose. That happened to me when I played against No Hat Coder in the 2021 Chandrian Invitational Tournament. I thought I played a very clever move, and No Hat Coder also thought I played a very clever move until he realized that he could just take the win. So, don't get too clever. All right, so we do see instead c4 plus happen. He does move that wall, but he moves it north. Goes in up onto c5. Now, this doesn't give white an immediate road. Ooh. But it's... Oh, man. What is he going to do with that? I mean, it's tempting to smash this wall for sure. Definitely tempting to do that. If he does smash the wall, let's see what he does. If he leaves 1 and smash or 2 and smash. I liked the smash idea, but I do tend to go for the riskier plays. Black now got this full line ready to make attack threat on the next turn. I think he wants to smash here. He's got to smash, right? It's just too fun. You can't not smash. You got the opportunity, go for it. I wonder if a smash would lead to Tinue. I'm not sure. I think it'd be really strong, whether it be on the last turn or this turn. I think it would be a very strong move. But I'm not sure how it would turn out. Taking his time here. Taking about 2 minutes so far, coming up with what he's going to do on this move. Reimen also took quite a bit of time on his previous move. I guess white was not expecting that that c4 plus move. Black is still in this game, but white does have a very strong advantage here. I think... So there's a possibility that black takes 2b5 plus, but if he does that, white does a6 minus. Now 2b5 plus makes attack threat for black to capture left. And the obvious move for white would be to take this left. But I think a6 minus is better because if this goes up, a6 minus comes down. a6 minus is now a horizontal tak threat by capturing down onto a4. Because now it would be on a5. Nothing could recapture it except for a4. And if a4 recaptures, then white just plays at a4 for the win. Huh. I do like that. So I don't think that black is going to make any sort of 2b5 plus move here. So what move will he make? Huh. Maybe the move he's going to go for is d5 plus. Because d5 plus is also a tak threat. Yeah, d5 plus is a tak threat. And if c6 comes right to capture on it, which is one of the few moves that work, then black can capture over. No, can't. I guess he could capture over with this wall and renew the threat. Yeah, could renew the threat with that. Okay, there are some sequences here for black that turn out really well. So that is exactly what white is looking at right now. That's why they're taking 4 or 5 minutes on this single turn, to basically look through all these lines, figure out what they can do to come up with this. And it's really difficult to walk yourself through these lines and walk yourself through these potential moves that your opponent is going to make. If I do this, he does this. If he does this, I do this. Oh, and we're seeing from Manatee in the chat saying that a6 minus looks like a knockout here. He's saying a6 minus right now. So if he does a6 minus, that's a tak threat in the vertical direction and the horizontal direction. What would stop both of those? The capstone coming up onto b4, I guess, would stop both. Yeah, capstone coming up onto b4 would stop them both. At least I'm pretty sure. Manatee's also saying that d4 minus would work. Yeah, d4 minus would stop them both, but I think that capstone coming onto b4 would also work. But a6 minus is a very strong move from this position. It would be very easy to overlook that it's a dual threat and capture up or capture over and forget about one of the other threats. Very easy to do. But I do think that capstone coming up onto b4 would stop it pretty well, and that would work out well for black, I think. Yeah, those are the two moves I'm seeing, d4 minus and 3b3 plus. But that is assuming white makes that a3 or a6 minus move. And if we take a look here, oh, how the tables have turned. MediocreTaborlin down to 5 minutes now. Reimen's still at 6.5. He's taken his time here, making sure he does not play a bad move that gets him a loss here. He has been in the lead this whole game, really just pushing momentum this whole time, winning on flats for most of it as well. I wonder how he's doing on flats. Take a look at that. 14 for white. 12 for black. So still up ahead on flats. White is doing a phenomenal job here. Oh, and we do see a move here that was unexpected, bringing that capstone over to the right. This is a tak threat in the horizontal direction, bringing the stack up. So 4d3 plus 1, 3. That would connect f4 all the way up here to a6. So this is a tak threat for white. I immediately discounted that because I was like, oh no, this wouldn't work for a vertical connection. It's not, he doesn't need a vertical connection. He wants that horizontal. He's got them both. So yes, that is a good play. I like that. How does black respond to this? Black can respond by moving a wall over. But if he moves this wall left, then white just fills in. That doesn't work out too well. Black can bring this wall up. That works fine. Black can move this flat right. That works temporarily. I think moving this wall up onto c6 is going to be the play here to stop that. Now, if he does move it up to c6, what is white's play? Does he just fill in at c5? Or maybe he makes the spread anyway. He comes up, spreads. Oh, yeah. So if... Okay. I think we might see... He might go... Oh, this is a tak threat now for black. Black can now make this road. And I think we're going to see white take this whole stack, drop one, and then drop one black here, and then capture onto this. I think that's what we're going to see. Because this is a sneaky tak threat from black. Black can now throw this over. 2d6 left 1-1 for the road. White's got to respond in some way. If they respond with the c6 coming right, that doesn't work out too well. I think he's got to move the capstone up onto d6. I think that's his move here. This is tough. MediocreTaborlin down to 3.5 minutes on the clock. Reimen just above 5. That lead he built up in time is fading away. Zerpu in the chat saying, the best thing about tak is that it is frequently surprising. You're not wrong. It is frequently surprising. I think we've seen that in this game. There have been some surprising moves that have worked out really, really well in both players' cases, in fact. So definitely some surprising moves, and surprising how the board has played out. How we're seeing some things happen that that work out and change how the board state works. He does go for that move that I was talking about, makes that. This is now, again, yet another tak threat for white going in that horizontal direction. If he takes 3d6 minus, that is a road, so black has to stop that somehow. And they can stop that with 2c5 plus. Or by bringing this wall down to f5 minus. That also does it. Also, I guess d4 minus, or d5 minus, sorry. d5 minus would stop it. This is tough for black. What's he going to do here? I think the move is 2c5 plus. But at this point, it feels like you're just kind of scrambling to survive as opposed to making any headway for yourself. Reimen taking his time to think here. He's got a little bit more time. He's got a little bit more resources in that department to think about this move. He makes 2f5 minus. Okay, so he does move this other wall off to the right down. That stops this horizontal threat. I think We may see here white just play. If white plays at D3 or at E2, I think he'd want to play at E2 if he plays at either of those. If he plays at E2 or D3, this wall comes left onto D4. But if he brings this capstone down, oh, he's going to play at D3 instead. So he does play D3. This is another attack threat for white. I think this is where we're going to see black take this wall stack and throw it over onto D4. If he does that, he wants to drop 2 whites here on E4 and land with just the black wall. Because if he doesn't, if he does white, white, black, that just leads to him losing. And if he does 1 white here and a white black here, then white's going to be tempted to crush that, and that would not work out well for black, I don't think. I think that would work out very poorly indeed. Oh. Yep. But he brought over one of the white flats, and I think that was a mistake. I think he needed to drop 2 here, because now white will smash this. Now white's got a line in this direction. Black can't move these flats up where he has to move this wall stack. But once he moves that wall stack, white just plays here, and then white can make that road with this wall, so black will have to capture over with C1 or throw his own capstone over to D3. So black is still in this. It's not lost for black, but it is very, very hard for black to come back. Black does have 3 black flats right here, but he can't do anything with them because they're stuck between 2 walls and a capstone. So white's got this threat now. Black can stop it with C1 right. And that is a threat that cannot be immediately renewed. That works great. He can also throw, again, the capstone from B3 to D3. And I don't know how well that works. He does that, though. We may see white fill in here at E2 or C2. Either of those works fine and renews the tack threat. Does fill in at E2, renews the tack threat in the vertical direction. Black may bring this capstone down onto D2 here to stop this. It looks like basically the only option here is to bring that down onto D2. But it's looking pretty rough now for black, even more so than it was just a couple moves ago. We'll also take a look. Black is now down below 1 minute on the clock. Black does bring that down. White can renew by playing at E1. They may just do that. And sure enough, they do. Black brings that over. What's the move here from white? White cannot renew a threat right this moment. They may decide to spread upwards or recapture that somehow, maybe with this wall even. Probably not with the wall, but they might recapture this stack with their own capstone to keep black from making any roads in this vertical direction over here. But no, instead they placed it f4, going for this horizontal line. Not a tack threat at the moment. Oh, yes, it is a tack threat. Sorry, it is a tack threat at the moment because he can spread upwards onto d6 and make that horizontal connection there. So that is working for him. And if black stops that in whatever way, white places here at f5 and makes the vertical connection for the vertical road threat, spreading that capstone stack down. It is looking really good for white. Oh, and black missed the threat, or black may have just given up here, but this is going to be a road win for white. Wow, that was one heck of a game. Congratulations to MediocreTaborlin for winning game 1 of this 4-game series. Really, really well done. Well played to both players. Reimen, you did a great job hanging in there for as long as you did. MediocreTaborlin just really snowballed there from the beginning. His position was very strong, and he was able to come back really, really well later on in that game. So really, really well played to both players. And again, congratulations to MediocreTaborlin. Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAK, especially the TAK Discord server, which is where you can find all sorts of TAK resources, including strategy guides and people to play with, right here on playtak.com or right in the Discord itself, playing asynchronously. You can play just 5 minutes a day if you want to. It's a lot of fun, great way to get in some TAK when you're limited on time. There's also a TAK League that we have running, lots of tournaments going on, all sorts of fun stuff. Be sure to check that out, and thanks again for watching, and until next time, have a great day, and happy tacking.